Hello and welcome to another Lord of the Rings Rise to War video. I'm the player who plays as the King Under the Mountain, and today I am going to do a very quick server update video. It is going to be short and sweet because as of yet there hasn't been a great deal of PvP barring one major battle which has been won, I would say, at this point by one of the kingdoms, at least the initial fight. So we'll sort of talk through that a little bit. We'll go through the leaderboards. The Land Awakening event finished this morning. I finished fourth by what was in effect 23 seconds. If I would have just walked a little bit quicker, I'd have finished second. It's a little bit annoying there, but we'll go through that in a minute. The other thing on there is we'll just talk through which fellowships at where, like I say, leaderboards. We'll go through the map very quickly. We'll look at commander levels of mine very, very briefly, and then we will probably call it a day there because not a great deal's happened as of yet, but I just thought I'd give a kind of small update. I'll probably start on commanders because it's the easiest way of just starting. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 commanders at level 40. I have a 38, a 31, and somewhere down here will be Falcon, I would guess, unless I've already gone past him, who I think is 35. There you go, 36 Falcon. So basically, all there was to do for a couple of days because of the way the pass mechanics now work was sweep. I was sweeping level 40 mobs every 15 minutes or so for a long period of time, these guys here, and generally just kind of smashing through them, getting a lot of XP, everyone wins, that kind of stuff, while also taking some 150s and 130s. I would love to do a video as well on workshops at some point because they've become really important, and it's actually quite nice with the way the tile mechanics now work and how limited you are on tile space early in the season. They can do a really good job, but I'm not going to talk about that today. So we've gone very briefly through my commanders. We'll go to the leaderboard, and this top three wasn't what it was for the end of the event. It was Raven, Present Bear, and it was Levitating Bear, and then me in fourth, like I say, by about, I think it was 30 points between the three here, so it was pretty close, to be fair. I think if I'd have got that siege in earlier in the season, I'd have managed to actually get ahead, because I was 10 tiles behind most people, I think. So, like I say, it goes back to the importance of that. There has been some merit taken, and it is between ODIN, Wind, and DK. Also, Arthur will be in there somewhere, because the two kingdoms have been at war. The fellowship rankings are in Mordor. Of course, there is us and HONK. We did actually finish top of the leaderboards for this. I believe Bear did finish second. I don't think that's changed. DK, I think, would have finished higher if they'd been given the chance to. I think with them warring with ODIN and Otter and Wind, it's probably not helped them so much. Angmar looked pretty strong as well. And there's some good fellowships from Gondor that are also pretty high in production. So it looks a pretty nice server. Of course, we have Dong, the Micro Dong, as our third fellowship as well. It looks like it's going to be quite a good server, and there could be a lot of PvP and a lot of good stuff happening in it. This is the other fellowship in Arnor, which should help them out, I would think, as far as it goes. Commander levels-wise, people are only at 41. I will very quickly go through the affluence board, whereby there's a few people already over 40k, which is pretty impressive inside 7 days. But the top 50 is also really high, considering the tile cap that you've got. So I think the most people have at this stage is 151, maybe 161 if they're lucky, with a few different things. And that's kind of where the top 50's at. I mean, 32k and beyond, which I think is pretty impressive as far as the new affluent system goes. We'll very briefly talk through the map, and then I think we'll probably, like I say, call it a day early today, just for the simple fact that there hasn't been a great deal gone on in this server so far, and I'll bring more PvP next time. But for me personally, this is our kingdom in Mordor. We have expanded quite nicely. Gondor have also sort of filled in their regions a little bit. I'm sure they'll continue to do that. They're just a bit more spread out. You have the DK Kingdom up here that have pretty much filled in what they can from an Erebor perspective. This is ODIN, Otter, and Wind in Loth. I will go through what happened there in a minute. You have Angmar that have expanded quite nicely through here, And you have Linden that have kind of sorted themselves out a little bit of area over here, and of course Bear and Azagal in Honor, of course, which have kind of filled in a lot of the sort of territory that they can start at early on. Interestingly, I didn't know this, but Angmar is actually a great starting location because there are some 260s and 300s in there. So there are some level 12 and level 13 tiles already in Angmar, just an FYI, because of the way that it now works with passes. So interesting, probably worth looking into if you're ever looking at spawning in sort of a TE season or something like that. So there are a couple of pins. DK have made themselves over here as well now, with the sort of Lothlorien kingdom. There is a small pin between us and Gondor. It's not very big at the moment. It's been like that for a couple of days. I don't think a great deal's going on down there at this point. This is the real pin, which has been a couple of days and 9.1 million with 3.3 million deaths. And Koffer have even been involved in that as well. So, yeah, interesting pin, really. This crossing here, which is one of the passes, I'm not so sure this was a great move, personally. But Loth decided before they took this one and decided to farm down here, they took this one, which is directly into the path of DK, who also come through the one sort of access point to the centre that they've got at that point in time. I mean, I suppose they could have probably... I'm not sure. They could have maybe gone through there, I suppose. But DK come through here anyway. I think they came through before Loth. But basically what's happened is DK now own this this pass as they pushed them back straight out of this area and then have since took the keep. So quite interesting little engagement early. DK have definitely won that early fight. And I think that really restricted Loft's farm, so they've then had to come through here, but again, they're now being attacked through there also. So, in the words of what they normally say, DK is coming, I guess. But yeah, that early exchange, I was quite surprised that Loft went here first rather than there, and it kind of set up an early war. Maybe it was intentional, I don't know, but yeah, interesting start. The one takeaway so far, I will say, is that farmland is very restricted, mainly due to your tile cap. I will very quickly just show you where we're at with it. We have a couple of forts, one for HJW, and then we have already got a mountainous lair. They hit really hard. I'll probably go through some reports on them next time I'm on, because they still hit really, really hard. Sorry, couldn't help but collect that at the time. I have 113 and 112 tile, and then a few 11s and mainly 10s. I was lucky, I got a 4 in front and I got quite a few 10s. I then have a lot of 9s, and I don't think I've got any 8s whatsoever. Oh, maybe I do. I've got 4 8 tiles now. So my grain production's really low and my stone production's really high, which has allowed me to get quite far ahead with my buildings. But it also means I have to convert a lot of stone now for troops now that I'm through sort of the main buildings. But as far as it goes, I'll probably finish these two off in the next couple of days. I have got Morgul Quarters 10. I have got Main Hall 10. I'm up to 7, so I'm nearly at the point whereby I can get Alchemists. Durin's Folk 9. I'll probably finish that off next, actually, because I will be using Dwarfs as always. And that's kind of where I'm at. So not a great deal's happened so far. We will be trying to take Mount Doom later on, which I'm quite looking forward to. That's quite a big keep for this stage of the season. Hopefully we'll take it the first attempt and move on. But as always, if in doubt in these situations, always follow your nose.